We've been a leader in banking for more than 100 years. You'll find us here, at home, on your phone, and everywhere you go. Renaissance Bank. Understanding you. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Sponsored by Renaissance Bank.
Good morning, Northeast Mississippi. This is Newsbreak for Friday, February 24th. I'm Brad Locke. Thanks for joining us. You can catch Newsbreak each weekday at 7 a.m. Watch it at djournal.com, Facebook, YouTube, or the Daily Journal's mobile apps for Apple and Android devices. We're going to take a quick look at news, sports, and weather in Northeast Mississippi. Let's start with the Weather Underground forecast for today. We're going to have clear skies, a high all the way up to 79 degrees, a low of 41, a 10% chance of rain. The 3-day outlook going to cool off a little bit this weekend. Saturday, clear skies, a high of 55, low of 31, 0% chance of rain. Sunday, clear skies again, a high of 62, low of 47, 0% chance of rain. And then Monday, thunderstorms are probable, high of 68, low of 58, chance of rain is 100%. Let's take a look now at some of the top stories from the Daily Journal and djournal.com on this Friday. Governor Phil Bryant is pushing for a state lottery, and soon. On Thursday, Bryant said he wants lawmakers to make a late session push to enact a lottery that might generate tens of millions of dollars a year in revenue for the cash-strapped state. The Republican governor told the Associated Press that in light of the state's economic challenges, including a continued shortfall in tax revenue collections, a lottery is something that should be taken seriously. Just this week, Bryant made his 5th round of budget cuts in the past 14 months and the 3rd round this fiscal year. He's warmed up to the idea of a lottery the past few months, noting during January's State of the State address that Mississippi residents drive across state lines to buy lottery tickets, especially when the jackpot is large. Lottery proposals died in the House earlier this session, but they could be revived in the Senate in the coming weeks. The 3-month legislative session is scheduled to end April 2nd. Bryant said he believes senators could find a way to add a lottery to an existing bill, which would then return to the House, where some votes would have to flip for it to survive. Legislation to limit the Attorney General's ability to file lawsuits is dead for the 2017 legislative session, according to a key committee chair. The Senate Judiciary A Committee voted to lay the bill on the table on a voice vote Thursday, which essentially means it declined to take the bill up for consideration. The bill would have required the Attorney General to garner approval from the Outside Counsel Oversight Committee, consisting of the Governor, Lieutenant Governor, and Secretary of State, before hiring outside counsel to pursue litigation. Many legislative Republicans have taken issue with lawsuits filed by current Attorney General Jim Hood with the aid of private attorneys. Hood, the state's only statewide elected Democrat, has employed outside attorneys because of what he has said is insufficient staffing. For more than a decade, lawsuit settlement funds have provided hundreds of millions of dollars to help bolster the state budget. And in fact, according to Hood's office, since 2004, he has recouped $3.26 billion in lawsuit settlement funds for the state. Now, the bill, which passed the House in January, could be reconsidered by the House Judiciary A Committee before a Tuesday deadline, but Committee Chair Sean Tindall said it's dead for the 2017 session. Houston's Sundancer was featured in a documentary film that debuted last week at cinemas around the country, and part of that rollout saw the solar car put on display at the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C. The film is called Dream Big, Engineering Our World, and is aimed at growing the next generation of engineers to serve both the United States and the world. Houston Solar Car Team members headed to Washington, Chattanooga, Birmingham, and Huntsville, Alabama last week for the premiere. The Houston Solar Car Team was featured for about 6 minutes in the 45-minute documentary. The segment told of the small Mississippi high school that fielded a solar car that went to Australia in 2015 and raced the most miles under solar power in the 2,000-mile World Solar Car Challenge. Narrated by Academy Award winner Jeff Bridges, Dream Big is a first-of-its-kind film for IMAX and giant screen theaters and seeks to transform how people think about engineering. The film urges teachers, schools, and companies to answer the call of the Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math Initiative, also known as STEM, which offers a fresh perspective on engineering and aims to spark an interest in the field among students. And in sports, Tupelo's boys basketball team has put together a fine season, winning its division and earning a first-round bye in the Class 6A state tournament. But a big familiar obstacle stands in its way this weekend. The Golden Wave will take on Starkville, a team it's lost to twice already this season. And last year, the Yellow Jackets beat Tupelo in the state tournament semifinals. Tupelo coach Jeff Norwood said a big key when the teams meet Saturday is to not get beat on the glass. He said if his players can block out, they have a chance to win. The Wave has a balanced offensive attack led by Kylan Hamilton's 13.5 points per game. 4 other players average right around 10 points a game. Tupelo's girls are also in action this weekend after a first-round bye. They take on South Haven tonight. The Lady Wave are led by Alasia Scherer, who averages 20.5 points per game. And that's it for Newsbreak on this Friday. We do want to remind you to check out the Memo podcast that comes to you twice a week, all things Northeast Mississippi news and entertainment with myself and W. Derek Russell. You can find new episodes in iTunes, your podcast apps, or at memo.djournal.com. And in today's episode, be sure to look for that. Jenna Parsons comes on to talk about this week's food section. Scott Morris offers his review of the movie The Great Wall, and Derek tells us what's going on in the local entertainment scene. All the stories I talked about today you can find in the Daily Journal or at djournal.com. We're on Twitter at djournalnow. Like us on Facebook as well. That's it for Newsbreak on this Friday. I'm Brad Locke. Y'all have a great weekend.